The Lamidia Papa-led faction of the Labour Party has faulted agitations by the Nigerian Labour Congress NLC and trade union organization TUC against the removal of fuel subsidy, insisting Peter Obi okayed the idea. Addressing the media in Abuja, the factional National Publicity Secretary of the Labour Party, Arabambi Abayomi, says it will amount to double standards for organized labour to backtrack on what was part of the Labour Party's campaign promises.
It is somehow very funny for them to now be promoting strike, to be threatening the president now that they want to go on strike. I want them to apologize to Nigerians for accepting with Mr. Peter Obi that they will support him to remove this, the fuel subsidy, 100%. They should not now be running after the president that had just been sworn in. He was not the one that removed the subsidy. Mr. Peter Obi said the subsidy had been removed. They told us since last year that by June 2022, subsidy will come to an end. Both the NSC, both the TUC consented to this. So for them now to be appropriating and reprobating, it is not fair on Nigerians. So Mr. Juajero, he better resign or he will apologize to Nigeria for supporting Obi's ambition to remove subsidy.
The argument is really getting fiercer and fiercer. Well, NLB Country Director Action Aid Nigeria joins us in the studios now to look at these developing stories. Very warm welcome, Ene. I mean, for a lot of people, these are not happy times. For others, it is no better time than to let the subsidy go. What are your thoughts here?
Thank you for having me. And the thoughts are, when a new president is coming on board, you expect that the person will come on board. You know, you are looking at where we are coming from. The issue of subsidy, I used to work with the Nigerian Labour Congress. That was my first port of call in terms of employment. I was, in the Nigerian Labour Congress when they tried to remove the subsidy, when they start the issue of the subsidy to remove it from 11 naira to 22 naira.
During Comrade Adams Oshomole's time.
During Pascal Bafiao. And then moving on. And so this is not new. But what the promises that we had from President Muhammadu Buhari was that the 4 refineries were going to be working up and running in the first 4 years. Up until after 8 years, we didn't have the, so when you are talking of subsidy removal, are you connecting it with the reality that is on ground? Are you telling Nigerians they need to pay for what they are not organizing? Because when you are looking at the essence, if you have the natural, you have the crude, you are not refining. You are watching them. What really happened that 4 refineries closed down almost at the same time.
They are being refurbished.
They talked about refurbishment. There have been billions of dollars that have been voted for the refurbishment of this, and accountability is an issue. The issue of corruption has not been dealt with. And so is it Nigerians is it our fault if it's the money? Look, because we have to look at government is a tool for power. When you have been given that authority, that's government. But administration, administering it is the governance, and the process of governance is as important as the using that tool to get to the outcome. And so it's very important that we look at the processes. You are removing, we'll be hearing of subsidies, subsidies. What is the issue of subsidy? You want to keep an organization on, you want to keep even the banks. You remember when it was when we had a very tough time in the US and they had to remove, they had to pump money out into industries for them to stay so that they can keep, the organizations afloat, the workforce, running, all the workers are paying, we're paying heavy taxes. And so when you are talking of maintaining this environment, so none of the 4 refineries is working. You have an NMPC without a refinery. How does that even work? What the hell is going on?
Well, let's look at the politics of the politics or the economics of the subsidy removal is that all political parties during the 2023, electioneering agreed that subsidy must go. That is enshrined in their manifestos. Why the hue and cries now? The previous government, which is a continuation of this one, because it's still the same political party, had said, given adequate notice, ample notice, that by June 30th, there will be no more subsidy. They even budgeted for it. But the NNPC MD said there is no cash back for that budget. Why the hue and cry?
They take it when it is convenient for people. They try to explain to the people. For us, we are on ground. Actually, it is in about 26 states across the country. We are seeing outcry. And I want to, if this is a continuation, which it is, because it's the same political party, when President Muhammadu Buhari came on board, as a woman, I still remember the cost of rice. The bag of rice was 8,000. Between the 8 years before they are living now, bag of rice is 45,000. And at that time, there was a lot of outcry before they were able to grant 30,000 as a minimum wage. But when it was 8,000, even with 30,000, you can still afford to do something small with the little money that you have. With 45,000, you can't even buy a bag of rice, and so on and so forth. What are we talking about? We are looking at the economy, we are looking at the suffering of the people. Government is because of the people. Government is about welfare of the people, is about security, is about the economy. How are you tackling it? We are coming from an election, that took so much money. Accountability is still an issue with that election, which was supposed to be controlled by, technology and so on and so forth. Before then, we had the cash trap. We had the issue of changing of the naira, or is it colorization of the naira? And then Nigerians went into a cash squeeze. A lot of hardship. But I just celebrate Nigerians because they still were able to go and queue for the elections. And we went through that. We're just coming out of that. There was a lot of hassles in the court before they said, okay, you can now give the old money back and all of that. Is the central bank printing any money now? Is the new money, where is it? And there is no accountability. What are we talking about? And so who is pulling the carpet off the poor people? Or the people? This is not about poor people anymore. You go to the filling station, something you used to fill with 13,000. All of a sudden, you are paying almost 40,000 naira to fill your tank. Or even some people are paying much more than that. And so we are having a lot of people trekking across the country right now because the charges, even the transporters are having difficulty. A cousin of mine called, this evening, I want to travel, but I got here, I'm going for an interview, this is what is happening. The transport fare that they say is 15,000, they say I should pay 28,000. I don't know what to do. So it's a whole multiplier effect. How is this going to, multiply? And you are not increasing, salaries wages, and so on. So we need to look for other alternatives. We need to look at means. The government cannot just pull up the carpet like that. And no discussions at all. You just come and you say, subsidy is gone. Who is waiting for you?
Aren't the people too to blame for this? Or is it the politicians outside government who are earlier called the issue of subsidy fraud? Or being in government and having better hindsight of the situation that's, just like you said, a lot of corruption in the regime of subsidy. But can we continue to spend 400 billion naira monthly on subsidy? Shouldn't Nigerians just go through the harrowing experience now if it's going to bring some stability to the manufacturing sector and help the economy grow?
My dear brother, what are the details? You say there is subsidy. There have been so many studies that have been conducted. There are so many that is. So if you are the president, have you gone through the details? What is the report of your details? What tells us that because of this withdrawal, life is going to be better for Nigerians? And so we need to look at all of that. We've had stories before. Privatization was done in this country. What is a success? The electricity was privatized into private pockets. The humongous, properties of Nigerians were given out to private partners or private entities. Has it turned to a better light? Have we turned to better electricity? The hike, petroleum hike, they talked about electricity tariff, which they have deregulated into several forms. Have we gotten better, or stable light? And so when somebody is telling you, if I remove these things are going to be better for Nigeria, and even if you want to do something, won't you cushion what it will come to before you start tearing people apart? The reality on ground is Nigerians are going through so much, and we are caught up. You have the government. We just had a government that closed. Now new government has opened. Many new governors have come on board. And you have so many states that have not paid salaries for about 20 months. Nobody is holding the governors accountable. Nobody is tracking what they have done. Some people left government more than 3 years. Their gratuities have not been paid in different states, and they are still carrying on their lives. People are dying because of little things they could tackle in terms of health, but they have no money. Food, because of hunger, people are dying. You have to remember, like what we said in the press text, 133 million Nigerians are living below the poverty line. And so when you now come, and that was as at, February 2022. From February 2022, and now we are in June 2023. Within this period, about 31 states went down in terms of flooding. Early warning for flooding has been given, and we are still going through. And so it's important that every administration has a human face. We need to have a human heart. Nigerians are going through so much. What is our educational level? Many people who are right now in different offices were given scholarship by the Nigerian government. This is still Nigeria. And so everything that you have that is a property of the Nigerian government or the property of Nigerians should be utilized for Nigeria. If you say you are giving subsidy and it's too much for you, is it your money? The money is for Nigerians. Who are those benefiting from the subsidy? They say it's a cartel. Who is breaking that cartel? And I think it's important to note, there is a couple, I think there is a petrol station that they still continue to sell because they say they have old stock. All of those who have fuel in their own domain already, are they telling us that they just bought immediately, what are you trying to say? Well, even the NNPC itself, what you have in your depot.
Those are people of great integrity and the rest. And
so the quality of Nigerians, have to deal with that. No
better place to really draw the curtains on these ongoing debates, and Nigerians and government will continue to interrogate the issue and find the middle ground. Thanks so very much, NLB, Country Director, Action Aid Nigeria.
Pleasure is mine. Thank you for having me.